Welcome to EuroBasket 2003, the European Basketball Championships for men from cool and cultured Sweden. 16 teams, 3 Olympic spots and 1 European crown. Settle back and enjoy the entire outstanding tournament. This is EuroBasket 2003. The European Championships has a proud and passionate tradition. (1987) and a basketball revolution is triggered by 2 free throws that shook all of Europe. The events at Peace and Friendship Stadium would change the landscape of the international game. 1989 was the finale for the combined Soviets and Sabonis. For the Soviets and '89 champions Yugoslavia, the next few years would see them fragment into new national units. 1991 was the finale for Yugoslavia, the current world champions. How great would this young team have been if it had stayed together?
He's got it! Phelps got it!
1993, Christian Velp's last-minute heroics.
Yes!
And Germany's youth understand their heroes can be local.
It's gone! And Germany are the European champions for 1993!
Perhaps this was the moment that inspired a young Nowitzki. It was mayhem in Munich.
Germany are the European champions!
1995, and Athens was a powder keg of emotions. This was raw, physical and brilliant basketball as Yugoslavia battled and bumped aside Lithuania to claim the title. 1997. After years in the basketball wilderness, Italy returns to the Euro elite. But in the end, Djordjevic, Rabraca and Yugoslavia are still number 1. Paris 1999. And the Italians exact their revenge over Yugoslavia in the semi-finals. And then drive on to claim the crown amid emotional scenes. But in 2001, the force is back. Yugoslavia outlasts the emerging Turks. There is no doubt that the last 10 years belong to current world champions Yugoslavia. That was then. What about now? Day 1. To Södertälje, where arguably Sweden's greatest ever sportsman Björn Borg began his career. First up for the hosts was Spain and the sublimely talented Pau Gasol. After recently beating the French in a friendly, the Swedes had high hopes of an opening upset. Could it be? And then a little reality set in. Spain, after all, were many experts' title favourites. Gasol and co. went to work. First half highlights. the half, it was welcome to the big time of European basketball. Spain by 20. The second half, it was the Pau Gasol show. Underneath, leading the break, and then outside the arc. Ouch. Spain 99, Sweden 52. Game 1, Group A in Luleå. 1999 champions Italy versus the talented Slovenians, who are highly impressive on the qualification road to EuroBasket 2003 with wins over Russia and Italy. It was hardly surprising that the Azzurri were trailing early. First half highlights. Italy trailed by 2 at the half. Second half action, and the Italians' outside game was still off. Just as the silky Slovenian game was on. Boris Gorenc asserted some authority with an emphatic drive and dunk. Only a Basile buzzer-beating 3 kept the Italians in touch at the end of the third. Gorenc had his own buzzer beater, and it was Slovenia firmly in control. Few gave Italy much chance of proceeding to the top 8, and the win by Slovenia seemed ominous. Italy 67, Slovenia 77. Over to Group B in Norrköping. And Baltic rivals Latvia and Olympic bronze medalists Lithuania. Quick trivia question. Who were the first ever winners of the European Championships? Latvia in 1935 in Geneva. And who won in 1937? Lithuania. Then the Soviets sort of got in the way of this local derby. Hey, but that was then, and this is the first half highlights of EuroBasket 2003. At the half, Latvia by 6. It all came down to a desperate last 30 seconds after Latvia had led the entire game. The Latvians still had the last shot and the chance to win. Overtime. And it went to the wire again. With 10 seconds to go, Kambala puts the Latvians ahead by 1. But then the Lithuanians got the ball into the hands of their main man, Šarūnas Jasikevičius. Exactly who you would want to be on the line, with the game on the line. Scores time. Once again, the Latvians had one last roll of the dice to win it all. The lucky Lithuanians prevailed. Had they used up all their good fortune on day one of EuroBasket 2003? Their legions of fans didn't seem to care. Green, red and gold heaven. Group B action. Germany versus Israel. And all eyes were on German NBA superstar Dirk Nowitzki. First half highlights. It was a battle between German big man power and the Israelis' ball movement offense. Ademola Okulaja was prominent, as was Stefano Garis, as Germany powered to a 7-point lead at the half. Second half action. The Israelis hung tough until Patrick Femerling from outside sealed the issue. Okulaja, the player of the game. Germany 86, Israel 81. Okay, Sweden is a cool place to visit. And here are some of the things you can get up to in Luleå. A bit of skiing, windsurfing, and swimming. But back to the basketball. France versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. Head to head. Now France were one of the tournament favourites, but anyone who has seen their gutsy play knows never to underestimate the Bosnians. They step back from no one. Some fiery first half highlights. At the half, France by 3. Second half action saw Sonko and co assert control. And a burst of Laurent Poiret three-pointers was enough to get France into the comfort zone. Tony Parker provided a little razzle-dazzle, but it was the Bosnians who saved the best for last. You should get 6 points for those ones. France 98, Bosnia and Herzegovina 76. Group C action. Serbia and Montenegro, the new official name for Yugoslavia, versus the youthful Russians led by Andrei Kirilenko. First half highlights. Kirilenko was on the rampage, and the rebuilding Russians were not intimidated by the reigning world champions. Russians by 2 at the half, and the amazing Kirilenko with 23 points. Third quarter action, and the Russians built a lead. Viktor Kriapa with the 3, and Kirilenko with defense to match his offense. As you would expect, the Serbs came back strong. But it was the raw, youthful power of the Russians and Likonitov that held sway. Monstering the Russians to a comfortable 15-point win. Serbia Montenegro 80, Russia 95. Beautiful Boros and Group D action at the Boros Hallen. Turkey and Ukraine. Legions of Turkish fans have travelled to Sweden with high expectations. But it's Ukraine who got off to the strong start. First half highlights as Ukraine built a half-time lead. Hey, but did these Turkish fans look worried? Well, a little. Deep into the third quarter, and the Turkish comeback was well underway, led by multi-talented big man Mehmet Okur. The two teams then settled in for a tight finish and a three-point shootout. Turkey's NBA star Hidayet Turkoglu helping seal the win with a brace of three-pointers in the closing minutes. Ukraine 69, Turkey 77. Staying in Group D, Greece versus the underdog Croatians. As host nation, Greece had pre-qualified for Athens, but their devoted fans also wanted, or demanded, that they be European champions again. First half highlights. At the half, Croatia had battled and dunked its way to a 9-point lead. Into the fourth quarter, and Croatia had built a 10-point lead. Croatia then had a chance to seal the game when leading by 1, and Giricek at the line for 2 with only 8.9 seconds on the clock. Pandemonium in Boros. Greece by 1 with a free throw to come. Christos Charisis coast-to-coast drive. The first time the Greeks had led all game. Coach Ioannidis had a plan to protect the 1-point lead with 2.7 seconds on the clock. The Croatian coaches must have been wondering just how they got into this situation. The Greeks' plan, Charisis intentionally misses the free throw to keep the clock running. Greece execute the great escape, and their legion of fans are in blue and white heaven. Taking a quick break, here's some of the best blocks from EuroBasket 2003. EuroBasket 2003, Day 2, Group C, Russia versus Spain. Both coming off big wins the previous day. The cheeky young Russians were in the groove early. First half highlights, including an incredible Kirilenko block on the towering Pau Gasol. Pau's response. And Kriapa says, right back at ya, big fella. The Spanish may have been building a lead, but the Russians were building a highlight reel. Spain by 10 at the half. Second half action, and Spain and Juan Carlos Navarro in control. Final seconds, and you get the feeling Kirilenko was less than happy with Russia's 12-point loss. Russia 77, Spain 89. Also in Group C, Sweden versus Serbia and Montenegro. The hosts had to somehow regroup from their poor opening against Spain. And well into the first half, they were matching the Serbs and coming back at them. Christian Maraka's big three pulling the Swedes within 4 at the half, and the local fans were loving it. Second half, and the Serbs began asserting some control. But Sweden just kept up the pressure and were right in the game. It took some heroics from Stojakovic to seal the game for Serbia. Sweden 68, Serbia and Montenegro 78, and respect at the top table for Swedish basketball. Group A, Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Slovenia. First half highlights from two countries where basketball rules. A buzzer-beating three from Krisic, and it's anyone's game at the half. Second half, and bang, it's Bosnia. But Slovenia settled, and in the end it was Bosnia and Herzegovina 62 and 2-0 Slovenia 73. Swish. Group A, Italy versus France. Hey, you're cheering for the wrong blue team. First quarter highlights. When Laurent Poiret made this shot, you had the feeling it was not going to be the Italians' day. Second quarter, and things got a little ugly. But the basketball remained pretty. the half, it was France with some attitude and a 12-point lead. In the second half, Tony Parker and the French were on cruise control. A massive 33-point win to the French and 2 losses in a row for Italy. Their chances of qualifying for Athens must have looked 1,000 to 1. Group B, Germany and unlucky losers Latvia in Norrköping. And the Latvians were fast out of the blocks again. First half highlights. It took the Germans until deep into the final quarter to put the game beyond doubt. Or was it? The Latvians just would not give in. The Germans steadied and finally prevailed by 8. But this game was a lot closer than that. Germany 2 wins and Latvia 2 losses. Group B, Israel versus Lithuania. First half highlights. Lithuania were firmly in control by 15 at the half. Second half action. Lithuania in total control. In the end, Lithuania had too many scoring options and cruised to an impressive win. With 2 consecutive losses, the Israelis also looked unlikely to progress to the top 8. Israel 62, Lithuania 94. And Saulius Stombergas leading all scorers with 16 points. Group D, Croatia, Ukraine. Both teams coming off first round losses. First half highlights. Second half action. In the end, Croatia too quick and talented. A comfortable 18-point win, set up by the Croatians' strong second and third quarters. Gordon Giricek with 21 to lead all scorers. Few matchups mean as much in sport as the age-old rivalry between Greece and Turkey. For the passionate fans, this was more than a basketball game. This was their final. And it was Turkey that controlled the tip and got off to a flyer. First quarter highlights, and the Boros Hala was rocking. Mehmet Okur was in outstanding form and proceeded to run a clinic for his Greek opponents. Okur was dominating inside, outside and on deep. The Turks were on fire, and the mobility of Okur drove them to a 10-point quarter-time lead. Coach Ioannidis kept things calm, and the Greeks steadied in the second quarter. The comeback had begun. The Greeks had turned around a 10-point deficit to now lead by 5 at the half. And what a half of basketball it had been. Into the third quarter, and the momentum was still with the Greeks. But then it was the turn of the Turks to come storming back. Kutle with 2 key threes. This was European basketball at its best. Into the fourth, and scores were tied. Turkey take back the lead. Then the Greeks wrested it back. With 4 minutes to go, it was big play time. Turkey had its chances. But this play probably summed up it was not going to be their night. In the end, the Greeks made their foul shots under pressure. A memorable win, and the Hellenic heroes received the adulation of their adoring fans. Turkey 70, Greece 75. Day 3 of EuroBasket 2003. A heavyweight Group C battle. Serbia and Montenegro versus Spain. First half highlights. Serbia were out by 6 at the half. Second half action. Juan Carlos Navarro puts the game away with the clutch layup, and Pau Gasol underlines the win. The Spanish big guys celebrate, and Serbia are forced into the elimination final as Spain wins the group and a quarter-final spot. Sweden were encouraged by their strong showing against Serbia and Montenegro. Could they match it with the Russian young guns? First half highlights. Into the third quarter, and the athletic young Russians were building a lead and their international reputations. As Kirilenko and co. went to work, it was clear that Sweden was about to be eliminated. But EuroBasket 2003 has allowed the hosts to take a giant step forward towards the elite of European basketball. In the end, Russia too strong in the second half and 21-point winners. Over to Group A and Slovenia versus France. First half action and Marko Milic gets things going for Slovenia. This was a rough and tumble affair. Moiso finishes the first half with authority, but Slovenia still held the 2-point lead. Second half action. And the bodies were still flying. Just under 2 to go, and it's still anyone's game. Until Tony Parker flips the game the French way. Laurent Poiret made the free throws, and it's 3 wins in a row coming up for the French. France win Group A and go directly to a quarter-final. Slovenia must survive an elimination final. Group A. Bosnia and Herzegovina against Italy, both looking for their first win. First half action. Second half highlights. And it looked like the 99 European champions were about to be eliminated, winless. Massimo Bulleri stepped up and made some big shots. And Italy eked out the win and a spot in the elimination finals. Bosnia-Herzegovina 72, Italy 80. Lithuania versus Germany to decide top spot in Group B. First half action. Jasikevičius and Stombergas were in control. The Lithuanians played with their usual flair to cruise to a 22-point win. Lithuania 93, Germany 71. Stombergas with 28 points to lead all scorers. Nowitzki with 90 for the flat-looking Germans. Undefeated Greece versus winless Ukraine. But it was Ukraine that had the initiative in the first half. In fact, Ukraine led by 20 at the main break. It took Greece until the final quarter to haul the Ukrainians back to seal the win 79-63. The final game in the preliminary rounds, Turkey versus Croatia. First half highlights. The Croatians led by 3 at the half, but the Turks scored 21 points to 12 in the third to take a lead. With 30 seconds to go, Turkey led by 4. Then it was 1. It all seemed under control for Turkey. They ran the clock down and executed a play to score, but then they elected to foul. And the official called it intentional, and suddenly the Croatians had 2 shots and the ball back, and the chance to win. Once again, the Croatians missed crucial free throws. Making the second, they still only trail by 2. Then, believe it or not, the Turks fouled again. Mulemerovic made the first, and this was to take the game to overtime. Another crucial miss. Turkey controls the rebound and have time to execute one last play. Finally, Turkey win 75-72 in a game both teams seemed determined to lose. The elimination finals of EuroBasket 2003. Turkey versus Serbia and Montenegro. Tens of thousands of fans had travelled from all corners of Europe to cheer their teams on. It was a full house at the Boroshala. Elimination round says it all. Lose and you're out. The matchups are Slovenia-Israel, Germany-Italy, Russia-Croatia, and this game, Turkey versus Serbia and Montenegro. First quarter highlights, and with stars like Stojakovic, Jaric, Okur and Turkoglu, it was a Euro classic and replay of the 2001 final. second half action. With 5 minutes to go, there was controversy as Okua's miss counts. The Serbians called for basket interference. They were not happy about the call, and worse than that, they had lost their star scorer Stojakovic with a tournament-finishing injury. Still up by 1, Vujanic extends the lead to 4. But Turkey maintains composure to close to 2. Turkey closed to within 1 on a foul shot, but Jaric drives and scores with ease. Only trailing by 3, the Turks still have a chance to tie on the 3. The turnovers are vital. A series of free throws result from forced Turkish fouls, and Serbia and Montenegro are into the quarter-finals, but without superstar Stojakovic. For Ibrahim Kutle and Turkey, the EuroBasket 2003 is over, and any chance of reaching the Athens Olympics gone. Turkey 76, Serbia and Montenegro 80. In Luleå, Slovenia were heavy favourites to handle Israel and rising star Tal Burstein with ease. First half highlights. Slovenia skipped out to a 12-point quarter-time lead and still led by 6 at the half. Whatever Israeli coaching staff said inspired a remarkable comeback. With 2 minutes to go, Israel trailed by 4. Make that 2. With 10 seconds to go, scores were tied. Tal Burstein gives Israel the lead with 2.6 seconds to go. The Slovenians fail to get an effective shot away. And Israel is off to the quarter-finals. And Slovenia, who must have thought they had the game won, are eliminated. The entertainment at EuroBasket 2003 was first class. Here's just a few of the highlights. In Norrköping, it is Germany against Italy. Dirk Nowitzki gets things going for the Germans in first half highlights. The Germans had the lead out to double digits in the first half, but the Italians seemed to be developing the knack of just hanging in there. Germany led by 7 at the half. Second half action, but the momentum had shifted Italy's way. In fact, with 5 minutes to go, they led by 3 until Nowitzki closed it to 1. With 30 seconds to go, it was still Italy by 1. Marconato's dunk was decisive. The Germans still had the chance to tie the game up. Nowitzki misses, and so did Okulaja. Italy controls, and the Italians are the most unlikely of quarter-finalists. In Södertälje, it was Russia-Croatia. In the stands was the legendary Larry Bird, on hand to watch a player with bird-like talent, Andrei Kirilenko. With the Russians and Croatians, there is no such thing as dull basketball. First half highlights as they went at it. It was Croatia who established the early lead and held a 7-point advantage at the half. Second half action. Steals enabled Russia to close within 2. And it was another steal that gave Russia the lead for the first time. Russia then made a series of foul shots to extend their lead, and the Croatians, who seemed to be cursed by bad luck during EuroBasket 2003, were finished. As in all of their games, they had led most of the game, only to falter at the end. For the young Russians, it was a chance to showcase their skills on the biggest stage of the quarter-finals in Stockholm. The end of a brilliant summer in Stockholm, and the best in European basketball make their way to the cultured Swedish capital. The venue for the final phase, the magnificent Globe Arena. Quarter-final number 1. France versus Russia. First half highlights, featuring a dazzling array of athletic talent. Deep into the second quarter, and the French have built a small lead. The Russians rally. And a couple of spectacular blocks to end the half, with France holding a 3-point lead. Second half action, and a Laurent Poiret steal and score gets the French game going. San Antonio Spur Tony Parker stepped his game up a notch with a couple of long threes. After this Parker drive, the lead was 8. And Kriapa says, right back at you. But Boris Diaw and a withering first step responded. France were in the driver's seat. All Coach White had to do was keep his team on track with a 10-point buffer at the last change. The French not only held their lead, they extended it. Defensive intimidation was a key, and not even some late heroics by Kirilenko could haul the Russians back into the contest. In the end, a comfortable and impressive win by the French, who have yet to be really challenged in EuroBasket 2003. For the young and rebuilding Russians, a tantalizing glimpse of their future potential. Quarter-final 2. Serbia and Montenegro versus unbeaten Lithuania. As part of the master plan for Athens Gold, the Serbians are resting some of their veteran superstars this summer. Stojakovic was also out of the game with an injured ankle. First half highlights. Quick ball movement, and Sarunas Jasikavičius was exposing some Serbian defensive deficiencies. Approaching the half, the Lithuanians had cracked the game open. Into the fourth quarter, and Lithuania had the game firmly under control, until the expected final push by Serbia. The Lithuanians weathered the storm, relaxed, and then savoured a comprehensive 19-point win over the reigning world champions. James Naismith invented basketball as a non-contact sport. Someone forgot to tell the players at EuroBasket 2003. Quarter-final number 3, Spain versus Israel. Surprise quarter-finalist Israel had consolidated their reputation as the team that never gives up. Spain were red-hot favourites, and as the first half got underway, no one gave Israel much of a chance. And that's the way they like it. At the half, Spain were narrow leaders. Upset brewing? Second half action. Then with awesome ease, Pau Gasol slipped into gear. 14 straight points. And the Spanish offense went from clunky to silky. The Gasol factor. In the final analysis, a solid win by Spain, but some worrying signs of their offensive efficiency. On to the semi-finals for Pau Gasol and Spain. España 78 and gallant Israel 64. Quarter-final 4, Greece versus Italy. The Italians would be considering it a minor miracle they had made it to Stockholm. The Greeks, pre-qualified for Athens, were still chasing their second European title. It was the veteran Sigalis who got them going. First half highlights. Sakalidis was a force, and this drive by Gianluca Basile was exquisite. Greece by 4 at the half, and this was anyone's game. Second half action, and things started getting tense. Galanda's 3, and Italy lead for the first time, and extended that to 2 at the last change. Veterans Galanda and Sigalis leading all scorers. Fourth quarter highlights in a nail-biter. With 40 seconds to go, Italy still led by 2. Another Greek miss and a foul shot, and it was 3. Then a controversial turnover with 15 seconds to go. Basile made 1 to provide the comfort of a 4-point buffer. The Greeks were forced to foul again, and the Italians kept their cool. Italy into the semi-finals of EuroBasket 2003 in a courageous win. Semi-final 1. Lithuania versus France, and Stockholm's Globe Arena was rocking. A win secures a place in the final and a berth in Athens. Nervous? First play of the game and the start of a 9-0 run by Lithuania, behind red-hot offense and rock-solid defense. Tony Parker finally settled the French down. Deep into the second, and turnovers were costing France. A Tony Parker three-pointer was vital for keeping France in touch. Stombergus answers with a three-pointer, and he finishes with 14 points in the half. But so did Tony Parker. If France were to come back, it would be behind the potent scoring potential of Parker. Third quarter highlights. The Prime Minister of Lithuania, Algirdas Brazauskas, was on hand to cheer his team on. Deep into the third, and the French had clawed their way back to take the lead. Into the fourth, and the Lithuanian passing was a feature. And when Jasikevičius nailed the extra long three, the game was set up for a tense finale. With 2 minutes to go, Stombergus helped grab a 2-point lead. And the French offense seemed to freeze up. With Lithuania leading by 2 in the ball, Coach Whites and the French fans had reason to be worried. But France stopped them on the next play, and 45 seconds to go, they had the chance to tie the game up. Another missed opportunity. Then it was the Lithuanians' turn to freeze up, failing to get a shot away. 15.9 seconds and the ball. Do you go for 3 to win, 2 to tie? One thing's for sure, the ball's going to be in Tony Parker's hands. Parker turns the ball over. Sonko fouls, and the PM can barely take any more. Siskauskas calmly slots both free throws, and it's all over. Tiny Lithuania into the final, and they are off to Athens to continue their proud Olympic tradition and defend their bronze, or improve on that. France must ponder the lost opportunities and somehow regroup for the bronze medal playoff. Lithuania 74, France 70. Everyone's favorite play is the dunk. Here's a EuroBasket 2003 selection. to the second semi-final, Italy versus Spain. All pressure is on the favourites, Spain. For Italy, anything more is a bonus. First half highlights. This weaving Bulleri drive epitomised the Italian play. This was to be a half of outstanding quality, as both teams traded blows. Eventually, it was Italy and Bulleri that grabbed the ascendancy and built a handy lead. But Spain rattled back, and as the half wound down, closed within 6. Deep into the fourth, and the teams were still locked together. First, Jimenez's dunk, and the Juan Carlos Navarro trademark drive. And Spain had regained the momentum with just over a minute to go, leading by 4. 2 more clutch free throws from Navarro, and surely the game was outside the Italians' reach. A Basile drive, followed by a Gasol free throw, and Italy still trailed by 5. Massimo Bulleri nailed the long 3, and suddenly Italy trailed by 2, and with plenty of time on the clock. Basile draws the charge, and the game was running the Azzurri's way. One final play and a chance at glory. It was fitting that Bulleri should take the final shot, as he had carried his team so far. Bulleri's jumper falls just short, and Spain have survived to win a place in the final. Juan Carlos Navarro was undoubtedly the player of the game, with 23 heroic points. The finals day. The playoff for 7th place had little relevance for Russia, who felt they belonged in the top 4. For Israel, 7th would be like a gold medal. Both teams played it fast and loose. First half highlights. At the half, they were locked together at 36. Second half action. When the dust settled, The Israelis wanted it more. This dunk sealing a 7-point win, 7th position, and an outstanding EuroBasket 2003. Israel 89, Russia 82. Now the teams put a lot of planning into EuroBasket 2003. Not everything worked out. Greece and Serbia for 5th place. This could well have been the final, such was the talent on court. First half highlights. At the half, it was Greece by a comfortable 12. Second half action. The Serbians have never been very good at playing for lower positions. For them, it's first or nothing. Greece comfortably 5th with the 64-72 win. A feature of European basketball is the passion and emotion with which it is played. May that never change. Italy versus France for the bronze. For the Italians, they must have had to pinch themselves to believe they had got this far. France were playing poorly, and this Marcanato dunk closed out the first quarter, establishing a 9-point Italian lead. The second quarter also belonged to the Italians. Moiseau's half-ending dunk helping France to close within 12. Italy 39, France 27. Into the third, and the French were on the way back. Into the fourth, and this Tony Parker three had them back in striking distance and ready for a seesaw finish. In the last minute, it was a case of the French not being able to take their opportunities, execute their offense, and make their free throws. At the other end, Italy took their chances. With 12 seconds to go, Tony Parker was on the line, and the French still trailed by 3. He missed the first, made the second, but then the Italians turned the ball over. Suddenly, the game is France's to win. The Parker flip layup falls short. Italy controls, and they're off to Athens. Surely the most unlikely Olympic qualifiers of all. For the French and Parker, it was a bitter end to EuroBasket 2003, where they let a stream of opportunities slip. But take nothing away from the Italians. You make your own luck. The Italian coaching staff performed miracles. The Azzurri are off to the Olympics. Italy 69, France 67. The fans of EuroBasket 2003 were brilliant, passionate, loyal, and for the most part, beautifully behaved. Stockholm's magnificent Globe Arena. 2 sets of fans from the extreme south and north of Europe, willing their teams onto the title. The Spanish team. Juan Carlos Navarro, the hero of the semi-final and the undisputed superstar of Spanish basketball, Pau Gasol. Lithuania have stars such as Jasikevičius and Stombergas. But this is a team with a capital T. Relaxed, Captain Stombergas, big man Sukauskas. Perhaps the key to the game is whether Šarūnas Jasikevičius can control the tempo. The Prime Minister of Lithuania, Algirdas Brazauskas, is on hand, as well as Prince Carl Philip of the gracious hosts, Sweden. First half highlights, and who would settle first? Two quick fouls to Jasikevičius and a strong start by Gasol were significant. The Lithuanians respond with a classic ball movement offense. And gutsy Juan Carlos Navarro, his trademark running layup, right back. Both teams got down and dirty on defense. Lithuania trying to establish a physical and psychological advantage. Then the Spanish offense started to break down, just as the Lithuanians started to heat up. Into the second quarter highlights. The big dunk by Songalia seemed to motivate the Lithuanians, who were rotating their big bodies onto Gasol, and where possible, sending him to the line. The Lithuanian three-point threats were also starting to shake loose. At the half, Lithuania lead by 9 points. Spain has some problems with their offense, and Lithuania just seem to be cranking theirs up. Siskauskas 9, leading an array of Lithuanian scorers. Gasol with 9 and Navarro 10 for the Spanish. Into the second half, and the Spanish know that the Lithuanians are masters at managing a lead. They need to get back control of the momentum. A start like this was not going to help. Then Zukauskas again, and Lithuania are out by 11. And Gasol has a third foul. Spain needed a good offensive set. The result was symptomatic of their problems. It was all starting to unravel at one end and fit into place at the other. Lithuania up by 14 and looking to break the game open. Coach Lopez has to try and get his team back in the game. Navarro with the 3 was a good start. Now it's time for the Spanish to dig deep on defense. Mindaugas Zukauskas with the 3. Garbajosa with 3. When Masajauskas nails a buzzer beater, the luck all seemed to be running against Spain. Gasol was battling a swarming Lithuanian defense, but somehow found the way to score. But while Spain was struggling for 2s, at the other end it was 3s. Then to further change the game, Lithuania go to a 1-3-1 zone, and it delivers the steal and 2. "15 points, and the alarm bells are ringing for Spain. Into the fourth, and even misses turn to opportunities. Lithuania in total control. A Stomberger spin, and it's 20, and there's no way back. Gasol stayed tough. But there always seemed to be an immediate response. It was a frustrating day for Pau Gasol and Spain, but there was no doubt that on the day, Lithuania were the superior team. Gasol kept accumulating points.
Please remain on the stands. Do not enter the court.
But then so did his opponent, Zekauskas. Let the celebrations begin. The Prime Minister was happy. The legend Šarūnas Maršėlinis was happy. Gasol had accumulated 33 points in a losing effort, but this was about the winners. A Gasol 3 and 36 points. But in the final countdown, it's a Lithuanian triumph. And let the pictures tell the story. EuroBasket 2003 champions, Lithuania.
Ladies and gentlemen. Please do not enter the court area.
As the unofficial Lithuanian national anthem, Tes Miliona, or We Are Only 3 Million, rings out, the celebrations begin. Lithuania, undefeated. Yes, champions in 1937, 1939, and now 2003. We're back. The sign and the humor says it all. A team that plays with sportsmanship, passion, and national pride. Never nationalism.
Italy.
To the presentations. Bronze medalists Italy. What a comeback story.
And the silver medalists are Spain.
For silver medalist Spain, they are a young team and they will have many other opportunities to reach the pinnacle. Except for the likes of Alberto Guerreros, who will retire from the international game. President of FIBA Europe, George Vasilikopoulou, to present to Lithuania.
Lithuania.
Prince Carl Philip also congratulates the new royalty of European basketball. The all-star team: Francis, Tony Parker, Lithuanians Šarūnas Jasikevičius and Saulius Stombergas, Russian Andrei Kirilenko, and Spain's Pau Gasol. And the most valuable player of the tournament, Lithuania number 13, Šarūnas Jasikevičius. And you get the feeling with Lithuania, it's all about the team. Farewell from EuroBasket 2003. See you in Belgrade in 2005.